Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 18 of Cute Little Love Letters, and this one is titled Love and Light. Sounds like Brian. Well, here we are, your dad said brightly. Time to do the hard work now. Sweets, do you know where your room is? Your dad asked you, turning around in the driver's seat to ask you. You shook your head and glanced out the window at another van as students carried items from the back of it. No, sorry, Dad, I don't know. I'll ask, you said, as you unbuckled yourself from your seat and then slid the door open and got out. Yin! You heard Kendo call, so you looked up to see her waving at you as she was making her way over. Super cool van! Oh, thanks, you said shyly. Hey, Yin's mum and dad! Kendo then called past you, waving to your parents as they also got out of the van. Your parents both waved back and you turned back to her. Hey, Kendo, do you know where my room is? You asked your bubbly friend. Yes, it's next door to my room, she said excitedly. Come, I'll show you. The rooms aren't very big, but they're okay. Do you have much to move? I'll help you move your stuff in. My things are pretty much already in. Really? You asked with surprise. You act fast. I didn't really have much to move, she said with a chuckle. What about you? Do you have much? A little, I guess. Just my painting stuff, books, some plants, the bed. You started listing things when all of a sudden you saw Denki making his way over to you. Hey, Yin, he greeted with a bright grin, shoving his hands into his pockets as he stopped next to Kendo to chat to you. He was in casual clothes and you nearly passed out. He looked so cute. You couldn't even look at him. Hi, you said shyly at the ground. Hey, so, do you need some help moving in? He asked hopefully. I can help. I'm super good with helping. Just call me Helper Kaminari. He joked. Yes, you nodded softly, glancing up at him and then down again. Okay, cool. Let's get your stuff then. Which van's yours? He asked, looking over your shoulder. You froze for a second, fearful of what his reaction would be if you said that it was the combi van. Yin, ready when you are, your dad called to you. Oh, shoot, you heard Denki say, and you looked up at him quickly to try and gauge the expression he had on his face. Was it a good oh shoot or bad oh shoot? You needed to know. When you looked up, you saw his eyes were sparkling so hard you thought he was going to hemorrhage. Sick, he said softly as he stepped around you and took his hands from his pockets. Yin, this is your ride? It's super retro. Hot, man. That is so on trend, he said. You didn't really understand what he said, but by the looks of it, he was excited about the van, so you relaxed. Oh, hey Yin's dad. Are you Yin's dad? Denki asked as he approached your dad, who was pulling your paintings out of the back of the van, each painting carefully wrapped in towels or other protective fabrics. That's me, your dad said with a smile as he looked down at Denki. Hey, Denki said with awe as he looked up at your dad and noticed his pointed ear shape, and then he looked over at you. I can see you like your dad, he said with a grin. Where's your mum? Is she here? Someone's looking for me, your mum said with a little twinkle in her eye as she rounded the other side of the van with a plant nestled in the crook of her arm. Wow, Denki said softly. You're both really good looking. No wonder Yin is a stunner. He had said that line softly, so you weren't sure if your parents had heard him, but you sure had, and your face suddenly burned. Can I help? Denki suddenly asked. I'm in the hero course, so, gotta do some hero stuff. You had still initially been thinking about what he had said about you being a stunner, but then his goofy comment caught you off guard and you had to smile a little at it. Your dad then handed him a few small paintings and he took them like he had just been handed an amazing prize, and then he turned to you. Don't you worry, I'll look after these, he said earnestly. So, where's your room? I'll bring them up. I don't even know yet, you said sheepishly, looking behind you to Kendo. It's this way, she said brightly, waving Denki to follow her. You took something else from your dad and then fell in behind Denki, following him as he followed Kendo. At first he didn't know that you were behind him, but when he looked back and saw you, he stopped for a second so you could walk beside him. So, are these pictures? He asked, looking down at the squares wrapped in the toweling. They're my paintings, you said with a small smile. Oh, you painted these? He asked with awe and surprise. Can I see them when we get to your room? Okay, but they're not very good. They're just paintings, you said sheepishly. I bet they're amazing, he said with a smile. I can't paint. I can't do anything well, really. Let's be honest here. You can make me smile, you offered, suddenly realizing how honest and forward that must have sounded, and quickly looked away. You know what? I don't care if I can't do anything else in life. Denki suddenly said loudly. I can be the hero of your smile. I'll protect it at all costs. That comment did make you smile, and you cracked another one while looking away. Denki could tell that you were smiling and beamed with pride. His day had been made. Up to your room you went, and Kendo was very excited to show you hers before you got to yours. Oh, this is nice, you said when you stepped in and saw her set up with the motorbike picture on the wall. It's very neat. I like it, she said with fists on hips. You then walked next door into the next empty room that was your new room. It was very plain, just 4 walls and a floor. It wasn't your beautiful room back at your house. You felt sad. Okay, where do you want these? Denki asked as he walked in past you and turned around in a circle multiple times. His constant turning drew your attention and pulled you away from your sadness so that you had to crack a smile at what he was doing. And stop, you said, and he froze. Over there's fine, you added. Great, he said with a grin as he walked to the wall and gently put the paintings down and propped them up against the wall. He then picked up one and gently pulled the towel back a little to see what was underneath and stopped, staring at the gorgeous colours that met his gaze. Wow, he breathed. You'd put your stuff down now and had turned to see that he was looking at your painting and paused for a second. This is amazing, he said as he held it up and looked it over. You paint really well, Yin, he added, looking across to you. Oh, thank you, you said shyly, bashfully looking down. So, this is the new room, your dad suddenly said as he entered with a box of things, and your mum followed in afterwards. Yeah, you sighed. Did you want me to get more from the van? Denki asked, and you nodded before your dad spoke. There's a box in there, ready to be brought up, your dad added with a smile. It would be great if you could grab that. I got it, he replied with a smile, and a small salute before leaving the room. What do you think? Your dad asked you, gesturing to your room. You hummed with a shrug. I don't really like it, but it might look more like a room once I've got my things in here. It has a lot of potential, your mum said with a smile as she stepped forwards to give you a hug. You make it your own. Okay, you said as you hugged her back. And is that the boy? Your mum asked quietly. I felt it the minute he walked over. He brings energy and life wherever he goes. Very bright light. You nodded. That's him, you said shyly, your heart pounding. I got the box, Denki said suddenly as he walked in. There's a little more in the van, but it shouldn't take too long to move it up here. Kendo's bringing more too. I'm back, said Kendo as she walked in behind Denki. Where do you want this one? Your mum gave you a side squeeze and looked at you. You are surrounded by the best light, she said after looking at Denki and Kendo. Too true, Mum, too true. Stay tuned for chapter 19 coming tomorrow. I'll see you then.